less than 10 people on the team, so the 2 pizzas can feed the team.
The bounty system is fully integrated within the workspace itself. When you want to manage the day-to-day operations, creating bounties, tracking them, getting them paid out. Not every task is a bounty, but you can turn any task into a bounty.
What's in the most interesting individual document that you've seen on Charmverse that may be open to the public or open to you?
I don't know.
Welcome everyone, this is DAO Heroes, a YouTube channel for DAO professionals, people who move their careers to Web3, people who start DAOs, who work at DAOs, who maybe have an idea for DAO projects. Today we talk about DAO operations. How, once you have a DAO, how to organize tasks, how to pay contributors, how to make things more efficient, how to connect different tools together. Our guest today is Poon from Charmverse, which is emerging one of the most discussed and used Web3 native tools for DAO operations. Excited to have Alex with us today. Welcome.
Thanks for having me, Yury.
When have you started? What it does today? What's the vision behind the project? What kind of DAO projects already using it? What are the main features? Give us a quick update. What's going on?
We co-founded Charmverse with my past co-founder, my CTO, Matt. So we have been together for almost 10 years. This is our third company together. For Charmverse, we are a DAO operation platform. You're saying that, as you have an idea about DAO, you work with Super DAO to create the governance, the tokens, and so on. Very soon after that is what we look to have you sign up for a Charmverse account. When you want to manage the day-to-day operations from putting out a set of bounties, from creating bounties, tracking them, getting them paid out, or writing out onboarding doc that you can create a public page or private pages on how do you guide your DAO members through the journey. Our system is token gated. Again, you can use the DAO token or NFTs you created from SuperDAO and directly use that to unlock access in our system. We also provide profile about the each individual contributor so that as you apply for bounties or as you're trying to work deeper within contributing to a DAO, that we're trying to give you that Web3 resume or start building that Web3 resumes with you.
You said bounties or tasks. Is it a separate entity? So documents, tasks, and then you mentioned payments. Is the payments part of Charmverse? Is it external part in integration? So what are the key kind of moving pieces and tools within Charmverse kind of toolset?
Exciting part about Charmverse is that the bounty system is fully integrated within the workspace itself. Your DAO or particular work stream could be tracking your tasks. Not every task is a bounty, but you can turn any task into a bounty. Someone can apply for it, someone can actually be working on it, eventually getting it verified and that is done and it get paid out. On the payment side, we support a couple of ways to get contributor paid. One is through a wallet-to-wallet transaction, so all the completed bounty can be paid out by a wallet or multi-sig wallet. We also support a notice-to-save integration, so that you can trigger multiple transactions all at once, save up on some of that fee, and get the set of bounties all paid out at the same time.
So the documents are front and center, and then you generate the events, so the data points that Johnny edited this doc, or Mary completed this doc, or someone did something in Charmverse, and so that data can be used for marking the bounties and therefore initiating or recommended that the payments are made?
Well, right now we let we let you assign a reviewer. So the creator of the bounty, oftentimes, but you can select a different reviewer. So it is a reviewer that determines if that bounty was actually done. Because sometimes these things happen outside of our platform, right? That you could be writing a piece of code, you have to check that code in GitHub or something like that. So we want to give the ultimate decision to whoever created the bounty and you have in that relationship.
What are some of the exciting workflows you already see? Are you in private beta, open beta, anyone can sign in? So what's the level of availability?
We are in an open beta. Anybody can visit app.charmverse.io to sign up for an account to check it out. As we're looking in the future, we are building a more features into the bounty system, letting you kind of create more complex ways to manage and use bounty. That's one thing. You will see us also come out with a more comprehensive proposal flow, essentially taking care of anything that happens before a proposal go to snapshot.
What's the most exciting or interesting proposal developed, or like what's in the most interesting individual document that you've seen on Charmverse that may be open to the public or open to you that you can discuss? I don't know, roadmap, charter, tax proposal. Like, what do people actually like write together on Charmverse?
A big part of it is I don't know, right? Because we can't see our customers' data, so we only see what gets made public. And oftentimes, what gets made public is usually this first page that you see when you join a DAO. So this is what you do to get started. From embedding a video, or like this is what our project or a protocol is about. And these are the sort of the steps, or these are the links that you go to. Have a sort of single page to drive members to.
Maybe through your work at Charmverse, what do you see in general what's going on in DAO operations? So let's say someone started a DAO, maybe at Super DAO, my company, or somewhere else. How their journey looks from that? First vote, first bounties, first grants. Like, what are the key steps? What are the sequences? What do you see? Most common steps, less common steps. Like, what to expect?
You get started trying out writing a doc or two. I mean, you usually already have documentation somewhere, right? That either in Google Docs or another document system. And then you get to gradually start using the task tracking feature. Like, okay, this is how we manage our day-to-day work. Maybe your weekly sprint, maybe this is your monthly planning. And then the very quick next step is really two things. One is setting up the token gate so that make it much easier to bring in DAO members. And the second thing is setting up bounties, being able to create some of the work or offload some of the work outside of the core contributors and letting the community actually take on some of those tasks.
What are some of the most common bounties? Is it something in content creation or social media support or design or merch? I don't know. Like, what do people ask to do?
In some of the DAOs, yeah, it seems like it is more social media or documentation. So we have a gaming DAOs that use a system to. That's how they leverage the bounty to engage the community to build up the content for each character, so each scenes and stuff like that. We also have seen investment DAOs that when you have different VCs or angel investors going together, they want to leverage our bounty system to using for introduction. So like if I introduce you to an LP or introduce you to a portfolio company, you can use the sort of the token currency within the DAO to pay each other and keep track of who have done what.
What do you think is the aha moment specifically on Charmverse and the DAO operations in general? Is it when you make the first payout, when the first bounty got completed, when the first document is completed by the community, or you hosted first token gated event? Like, when do you think the moments when people start like, oh, this is different, this is better, this is new?
The first moment is that token gating experience, that all of a sudden that you truly no longer need to manage access or have to ask someone, can you add me to the tool or can you add me to the platform? And you simply just having the right membership pass in your wallet and it just work. And I think that's sort of the first step of that magic that is so different than the traditional platform.
Do you also generate any kind of data or profile? Like, do people like getting like bigger profiles and reputations? So you mentioned resumes. So how does that work? Is it on chain? Is it on Polygon? Is it on IPFS? Is it on any storage? Who has control? Who can edit things? So how you kind of envision evolving like the on-chain visible like contribution history of people?
So I find it very important to create composable reputation elements. Just because you do some work using the Charmverse platform, I'm sure you'll be doing work interacting with the rest of crypto in different ways. Still in development, but we absolutely are planning to put the reputation on chain. I think we have a couple of choices, either using POAPs or using Polygon NFTs. We also want to make sure that we are a consolidated display of your online journey. So showing off NFTs or other on-chain elements that you have collected over time with your wallet, and be able to help you display that on the right way as you apply for work or as you apply to join a DAO, etc., etc.
And so one of the most maybe exciting parts of the DAO tooling and specifically tools like Charmverse is kind of composability or reusability of organizational design from a team to a team. Let's say one team figure things out. So they set up the bounties, the rewards, the NFT levels, the access, the contributions. And then because it's on chain and because it's part of Charmverse, and Charmverse is a Web3 kind of native company, presumably that can be templatized, so that template can be taken to another company and then they can reuse or restart the same bounty program with the same rewards and kind of system. Do you see that already happening? Is it an aspiration? Do people copy kind of best processes or templates from company to company?
Yeah, so we currently don't quite support that just yet, but we certainly have requests for that. And exactly to your point, I think like that's where it gets really exciting to be able to port over not just best practices, but now templates, tools that you've been using in a different DAO. Now it's a copy and paste or a connecting a wallet, and all of a sudden that those things become available to you as you move fluidly across different DAOs at the same time or into new DAOs in the future.
Where do you think Web3 like shines the most compared to Web2? Where like I understand the technology level, it's transparency, it's on chain, it's composable, it's open source. But what's the benefit? Like where people say, oh, this is the thing that I would never be able to do Web2 or like would be much harder to do in Web2.
I have worked in multiple organizations, over my career that many of them had outsourced members in a different team or different region, different offices. There's always this mothership versus the rest of the world syndrome. If you're the company, you're big enough to be Google and then you have multiple motherships, that also somewhat work. But this idea of really be able to pull in, a engineer who is not connected to anyone in Silicon Valley or New York, and be able to just be on truly equal footing on just committing work, being able to have those lively debate, really be able to have those conversations that is a game changer. I think that truly bring globalization and decentralization to Web3.
So it looks like a different organizational structure, like org charts are different, or who reports to whom, like who has autonomy to make what kind of contributions, more like bottom-up initiative, or like how would you describe like maybe the difference in organizational design between Web3 native organizations like DAOs or maybe DAO tooling companies like yours and the previous generation of companies? Are they more flat? Are they like more bottom up so people decide individually what they to do? Or like what's the difference?
Yeah, so I think what's really interesting is that some of the key functions still exist, that you have to manage people or people have to be enabled. You have to collaborate, you have to drive performance, you have to build things or create things. But I think the way they are constructed and put together is very, very different. That the payroll department might be look very different than in Web3 versus in Web2, where the payroll might intertwine a lot more with your professional reputation. Which falls into the HR department, in the Web2 perspective. So I think what gets me really excited about building tools with DAOs and in Web3 is that some of these elements are very familiar, but they're totally different because the way they're constructed or the way they intertwine with each other, both makes it a necessity to create new tools to support them. But I also think that it unlocks new opportunities where you not be able to do things that you want to do before, but now all of a sudden you are enabled with, or you have transaction data. Like how can we do what can we do with transaction data? You have reputation. What can we do with reputation data? I think like those are the area that is sort of a new recombine of different functions, even though some of the key capabilities are still true, but the way they fit together are very, very different.
So more international teams, more part-time work, more short-term work, more result-based compensation or kind of output-based compensation rather than they like based on the number of the hours you worked. Maybe more revenue share opportunity, more equity based opportunity for international, even part-time, even like advisory roles. Anything else, like any other kind of behavior changes like this ones?
Yeah, so I also think that sort of the newer generation of DAO that comes out will be more likely to be sort of scaled through a DAO of DAO perspective. Kind of the famous Amazon two pizza team that besides Amazon, not a lot of big companies actually are able to implement that. But I think DAO has an opportunity to create it by organization design, but also supported by tools.
Just to recall for people who don't know, so the two pizzas means like less than 10 people on a team, so the two pizzas can feed the team. So basically the principle was always have small teams, and like most projects need to be driven by a small enough group of people so everyone knows everyone else and there is nothing lost in communication.
Right, yeah, and it's also that the teams are generally pretty autonomous, which again, it plays well with the decentralized autonomous organization of DAOs. But yeah, I think being able to having that autonomy, staying small, staying nimble, but then be able to connect with other bodies of players effectively through things like tokens or contracts, I think it really is a game changer.
So essentially the mindset is design your organization like you would design a software product. Think of each individual team as like a method or a class or an object that you can call upon and like ask for their, I don't know, inputs and outputs, and like treat each team as like as a gear in your organism, and like record more and more of those relationships between gears into more like well-defined and like programmable, repeatable, structured ways. And that will allow you to more scale and incorporate more external teams or part-time teams or teams from different cultures or different countries. So you rely less about people being in the office and like through kind of informal things, kind of learning from each other, and more like so that you enable like a global participation and global upside sharing and more like more access to the work environment, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think again, a lot of these things are the construction of the organization push or force some of these design of the DAO itself, which I think is a good constraint. That so that we don't fall back into the traditional the big company. Now you have to have someone being a manager, a leader. To do the work or tell people what to do.
What kind of organizational functions can be transformed by Web3 in general and maybe Charmverse specifically? Is it recruitment? Is it the payroll? Is it developers, marketers, customer success? Like what kind of organizational functions that you think you guys can transform first?
The most easily transform are areas that you can leverage tokens or things like existing primitive, like bounties. So both we talked about like potentially social media, so sort of more of the community and marketing side, both in a acquisition perspective, but also in a retention usage. So very easily be able to say, yeah, tweak this, or try this tool, and so on and so forth. So that I think that really enables that early unlock and early use cases on bringing people in through the user journey from completely not knowing the project to now I know it, but I want to encourage you to do a certain functions. So going all the way to the onboarding, I think that's a very nice first use case.
Okay, so that was our episode on DAO operations with Charmverse. Today we learned how Web3 tools for operations are different from Web2. How you start with document system at the core, make it the workspace token gated, incorporate and connect the document contributions to the bounty compensation system, and then use payment systems like Gnosis Safe or wallet-to-wallet wires to compensate people once they're approved by human reviewers. We discussed how the Web3 principles in general will affect organizational design. Charmverse is an open beta. Anyone can go on the link and sign up, create your workspace, and try something new, and maybe start your first bounty or edit your first document. We're definitely gonna use it at SuperDAO. And see where it goes. Thanks, Alex, for stopping by.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So this has been an episode on DAO Heroes, a channel for Web3 professionals. Please stay tuned, like and subscribe for more episodes like this one. Until the next time, bye.